Welcome to half bath to full bath conversion part 8. I'm How To Bob, and we're going to get started by demoing this closet / pantry right here. So we'll start by taking off the baseboards all the way around the whole pantry. Just use my pry bar and tap it down in there. These aren't on there real good, so it's pretty easy to remove all these baseboards. Go around the inside of the pantry and remove all the pieces. Once I get all the baseboards removed, I'm going to go inside the pantry and start to remove the wire shelving that's inside. I'll take out all the screws for all the brackets and braces that's holding the shelves in place first. Once I get all the brackets, braces, all the screws removed, the shelves themselves should pop right out. Start out by pushing this one up and it should pop out. They're just clipped in at the back. Just pop it up and it pops right out. All right, now I'm going to go around the top part of the wall and cut all the way around a couple times here so that I get a nice clean break on my removal of the drywall when I go to start demoing my drywall. And I'm going to get started with my favorite tool, the hammer. You can see there's a stud right behind the wall here. It's not going in, it's not penetrating the drywall, but over here it is. So get a little handhold hole with the hammer and I can start to pull the drywall away from the studs, and hopefully I'll get some big pieces that come off. It's a lot nicer to have a big piece. It makes less mess, and I'll just continue working my way around this pantry, pulling off pieces of drywall one at a time. I can kick this wall in since there's nothing else in the pantry. I'll just pull that off from the inside and then go back outside and start pulling more pieces out of here. I have to use the hammer to break off a little piece so I can get that to start breaking off again. And once I get up towards the top, I'm hoping it'll snap off at the ceiling real nice and neat. And there we go. That worked out well. So got nothing on the inside, so I'm just gonna beat this piece of drywall with the hammer and then kick it in. And I can push it all the way through, go around to the other side and start working on that one. Get a couple handholds started here and start prying the drywall down. While I'm doing this wall, I happen to notice there's a patch over here on the right hand side. You can see the little patch here, and it looks like there's something inside, a little treasure inside here it looks like. So let's see what we have inside the box that was covered up. And you'll see there's a dollar bill along with a note. It was stuck right in this little hole here. So let's take a look at the note. And the note says, "You found it. Please let me know of your success." And it has a name, and that name is the name of the previous owner. Well, I don't have any information, so I can't let you know of my success. But nice little tip, little surprise there. It's always nice to see when you're tearing out walls. Looked like that was the former place for the phone jack. So got a nice big piece here. I'll pull that out, and another big piece, and I'm getting the outside done so I can just push the inner wall inside and hopefully it'll break off in a big piece. There we go. That's what I was hoping for, a big piece like that. That's a nice piece there. I got the top to break off, and there we go. All right, most of the drywall's out. And you can see I've got all the studs to cut now, so I'm going to get my reciprocating saw with a metal cutting blade and cut the nails that are holding it to the bottom plate. I'll just go around the whole base here and cut all the nails at one time. Okay, once I get all the nails cut, I can start pulling out the studs. Got a little cross brace in this one, and the phone wire is in the way. Let me get that out of the way and pull the wall studs out of the way. And the corner ones are a little tougher to get out. A little bit of twisting, and there we go. Got the header over top of the pantry door that I still need to remove. See if I can get that to come off in some nice big pieces here. Oh. Once I get this piece out, I can then push the outer wall out from the inside of the pantry. And hopefully I can get it to come off. Yeah, that's a pretty good piece there. All right. So I've got all the drywall. I've got one more stud to cut here. It's the corner where the closet door used to be. Cut that out. And just start removing some of the header braces here. And then I can work on pulling the corner away. My top piece fell off, and there we go. Got the corner out. Now I'm going to work on the base plates. Pull those off the floor. And I want to kind of be careful around the base plates not to chip any tiles, because I do need to reuse a lot of these tiles. I'm going to try to match up the tiles here soon. Get these off the wall. I've got a little bit of drywall to remove here on the walls. Let me cut this down the side so I can get a nice clean cut. It'll make it easier when I go to patch the drywall. And there's a few nails down here I need to cut. Cut those off, and the 2x4 comes off relatively easy once the nails are cut. All right, now I've got my top plates to remove. Won't be needing those. I'm just going to patch the ceiling, so those have to go. And you can see what I'm left with. The line in the floor and in the walls. So you can see the opening now. It's a big open area going into the bathroom. So this is where you are now. And it's time to remove this piece of cabinetry. So I'll take the drawers out. Looks like I have two cabinets here. Let me remove the countertop. There's some screws holding it on the cleats on the corner. And just remove those, and the countertop should come right off. Let me cut the caulking that's along the wall here. That's the only thing left holding it on, so I should be able to slide it right out. And the countertop comes off. But it looks like I have two cabinets here. One's a 24 and one's a 36. So what I'm going to do is reuse the 36. I'll just slide it to the left, and I'll get rid of the 24. And usually there's screws along the stile here, screwing the cabinets together on either side, one side or the other. But in this case, you can see there were none installed, so I don't have to worry about that. And it looks like they put a little side kick on the side here. I'm not sure what that's for, but I have to remove that along with the toe kick underneath. And the tile was tiled right up to the cabinet, so I have to lift the cabinets up to get them out. And then I'll get this 24-inch cabinet out of the way and slide my 36 in, and it should line right up with my wall right on the side. So measure my countertop. I want a little bit of an overhang. I'm going to take my countertop outside and draw a straight line here. I got a 36-inch cabinet. I want about a ½ inch overhang. So I'll go about 36.5 and draw a straight line and use my circular saw. And I've got a real fine-tooth carbide blade, and I'm cutting from the back side so that it doesn't pick my laminate, doesn't chip it, and I'll keep it as straight as possible. And I'm going to take it slow as I cut. That way I don't damage the laminate underneath. You can put tape on the underside. Some people will do that. But if you go slow and have a nice sharp blade, it turns out pretty good. So there we go. I've got my countertop cut, and I've got some blocks here. I like to put a few blocks around where the countertop sits on the cabinet. That way the countertop doesn't bow when somebody leans on it. Gives it more support, makes it stronger. And I'll have to get an end cap for the one side that I cut, so I'll have to get that next time I go to the store. But for now, I'm going to set the countertop back on so it's at least usable. You can see the space here that'll be filled in with the end cap. So I can put the drawers back in and they can begin to use this cabinet once again. And that's the new location. So now I've got this pocket here. The drywall's kind of flapping, so I've got to get some blocks in here. So I'll just screw some 2x4s in. These are needed to support the drywall. When I go to tape the drywall and mud over the tape, it'll just split if I don't have some kind of support behind the drywall. So I've got to have a piece of 2x4 behind there, and I've got one in there and it's not far enough over, so I'm going to get another one and slide it down next to that one. And once I get that in there, I need some place to hold it, so I'm going to have to notch this drywall out here just to hold that 2x4 in place while I screw it in. But once I get one screw in, the other ones will go in a lot easier because the first one's holding it into place. So now I've got something behind the drywall there. I need to go up to the top with another piece of 2x4 to block it in. I'll set some screws up, put my 2x4 on there, and again, this one's still not behind the drywall, so I need another piece. And in order to get that in there, I'm going to put some screws in at a diagonal right on the corner, and then I can slide that 2x4 up in the little slot that's left. And then once I get it up to where I want it, I'll use the screws and just screw this to the other 2x4, and then I can remove the screw and do the same thing at the top, and that will give me some support behind the drywall, and I won't have to worry about my drywall cracking when I go to drywall, mud, and tape. And then you can see it's flimsy down here, so I'm going to have to do the same thing again. I'll put a 3-inch screw in, and that's just to hold it into place while I screw it. And then I can slide it up to the location that I want. Got it in place. And then I'll screw that to the previous 2x4. Just basically stacking the 2x4s together to give the drywall something to lean on so it doesn't flop around or cause any cracks. All right, I've got the same thing going on the front. I need something to back my drywall up so that it doesn't flop around. Put a 2x4 behind there, screw it into the stud, and that'll give it some support from the backside. And then at the bottom here, I'll just hold the 2x4 up, and that'll give me some extra support. I really don't need one there, but a little extra is not going to hurt. So I'm going to start working on the shower base now, but I got to set up the drain. There's 2 washers that come with this. One's a fiber washer and one is a rubber washer. And before I put the washers on, I want to run a bead of silicone around the drain, and then I can put the drain in place. And then I want to put the fiber washer on next to the drain cup, and then the rubber washer goes up against the shower base, and it gets screwed into place and tightened down. Now on the top, I've got this little piece of metal here that goes into the slots in the drain, and that holds the drain steady with a screwdriver as you tighten it from the back using channel locks. All right, I've got my drain tightened down. I'm going to clean up the top from any of the silicone that came out, and then I can flip my shower base up on the end and silicone all around the perimeter of the base, all the feet on the base. This shower base does not require a mortar bedding. It's not recommended for this shower base unless your floor is really out of level, and this one's pretty level. I checked it just previously. So all I need to do is silicone all the points that are going to touch my floor, and then slide the shower base in here. Got my drain hole cut, and just push it into place, and then I can step on it to press the silicone down, And I need to start pulling the plastic protective film off of the shower base now so that I can put my side walls in. First, let me check my base, make sure it's level, both front to back. Left to right in the back looks good, and then left to right in the front looks good as well. So now I can get my walls and take the protective plastic off of the walls. And I'm going to just slide this wall into place and then screw it into place. This is just a temporary hold. Got my back wall here with the niche in it. And then I can adjust that once I get the front and back walls into place. So I'll start with the back wall, the back part of the wall, and there is a rubber, looks like a weather stripping, if you will, that goes in the corner for where the back wall meets the left wall, and then there's also one that goes in the front where the back wall meets the right-hand wall. So I'll have to repeat that process on the front here. And make sure that's pushed into place. Then I can bring my wall piece in. This is the left wall. And then I got my right-hand wall or faucet wall. And I'll slide that into place, and I'm going to mark where the faucet's going to land. I can reach back in there and put a little mark on it. Make sure I'm in tight first. And it looks like I'm going to have to adjust my back wall forward and back a little bit and possibly use some shims. I'll see once I get the left wall in. So I need to cut the drywall just a little bit in some spots. It's not exactly straight, but I'll use my wall as a line to use my oscillating tool and cut around and peel out the little pieces of drywall that are getting in the way. And then I can get the wall and put it back in. Let me put a few shims in here first just to see how that feels. I'll just screw them in for right now and slide the wall in. I'm going to put the left wall in real quick. And it looks like it's a little loose there, so I'm going to need some more shims. You can see that it gaps when I push on it, so I'll have to get some shims and build that out. It's a little loose there. So I'll take the wall out and put some more shims in and see how that feels. It's kind of a trial and error thing. Make sure that it's nice and tight up against the back wall. And that's starting to feel a little bit better. If there's too big of a gap in there, the caulking will split out and cause some leaks. Let me get this cut here, and I'll try the right-hand wall. And it looks like I need to put another piece of 2x4 in there to back this up. And it looks like I'm going to have to trim my drywall a little bit on the edge here. So I'll get my oscillating tool and run it up the side flange of my right-hand shower wall, and then I can drill my faucet hole. I'm going to drill from the back just until it punches through and get a little score on it. Then I'll come around to the front and use the same hole and drill all the way through. That'll give me a nice clean hole, and I can adjust that once I get the wall in place. So I'll push that into place, and a little bit more trimming up here just to get everything to line up. And I'll get the faucet to pop through, and it fits. So now I had to take it out again, and I'm going to put this 2x4 behind there just to brace the wall, give it something to lean against. And it's a good idea to do that on the corners. So I'll just screw that in, keeping it flush with the stud that's in the wall already. So now that I've got that screwed in, I'm going to use some liquid nail, and I'll run it down the edge of the left-hand wall and put some shims in there. I'm just sticking them to the wall with some construction adhesive or liquid nail. And that'll just hold them into place until I can get the wall where I want it. And again, it's kind of trial and error to see how much needs to be shimmed. I've put the wall in a few times, so I know about how much I need and about where I need it. So now I want to make sure, look behind here and make sure it goes in front of the shims and doesn't push the shims out. And then I can push it into place. And then it looks like the corner's a lot better fit. So I'll go up to the right-hand wall or the faucet wall, tap that all the way in, and let me screw this into place here. A couple different places. I noticed the back wall needs a little shim here at the couple stud points towards the corner. I don't know if they're out of plumb, but my corner is not making a good connection, so I'm going to have to cut a little notch out here just so that I can slide a shim behind my back wall here. So I've got my drywall cut out, and I'll just slide a shim down, and that'll keep the two shower walls tight against each other. I'll just break it off, and I'll fill that in with drywall mud so I can screw over top of this. And you can see it's nice and tight now in the corner. I'll do the same thing in the back. I've got it notched already. Grab my shim and slide it down in there. This one's a little bit tighter, but that's okay. Tighter it is, the stronger the walls are going to be. I'll cut that off with the oscillating tool, and then I can put some screws in. And it looks like I need a little bit more shim at the top up here, so I'll put a little construction adhesive and get a little sliver of shim and slide my left panel into place, and then I can start to screw that in, going around. There's little dimples in the drywall flange or the mounting flange of the walls. That's where they recommend putting the screws in. I'm using rock-on screws. If you use drywall screws, there's a good chance they could corrode or rust. I need to widen out the hole for the faucet because there's a couple holes that I need my screws to go in for my cover plate. So I might as well do that now. I'll just go around with my oscillating tool, get that out of the way. I'm going to be using some 20-minute mud or 20-minute plaster, which you mix up with some water, and it usually is workable for about 20 minutes. It's really all I need. I'm just going to fill in this gap here, mix up one batch, and then I can come back over it later on with a finish coat of some different mud. I generally like to use the +3 mud. It sands a lot easier than this 20-minute mud, but this is a nice base coat. It's really hard, so it'll hold this shower into place. And I forgot to screw the drywall in. I noticed it moving when I started the mud, so I got to go through everywhere there's a stud and throw a screw in to keep the drywall from moving, or else I'll start getting cracks. So there we go. And then I can continue mudding around the perimeter of the shower. And this is just a base coat because it's so thick. I want to go ahead and get that started, hardening up, and I'll come back through and finish it off when I'm done. Work the mud in around the flange and the holes that I had to cut out for the shims. Once I get over here, I'm going to start working on the shower head area, fill in that hole a little bit. And that about wraps it up for half bath to full bath conversion part 8. If you like this one, hit the like button and the bell icon to see future updates. I'm How To Bob. Thanks for watching.